Aloha, welcome in everyone. I am Kapualani, and we're here with your timeless collective guidance, collective reading. Um, we're entering into the month of August, and so just as a note, if you are not following me on Instagram, and you do have Instagram, or you are on Instagram, go ahead, check me out. I am at underscore dot kapualani dot underscore. Hopefully that makes sense. I think there's a link for my Instagram profile in my bio, but at any rate, I just referred you to that. If you want to follow me there, you can, but I will be posting, or I have posted by this point, the zodiac readings for the month of August, and that will cover your sun, moon, rising, and if you're feeling drawn to checking out your North Node, Venus, that sort of thing, I welcome you to do that as well. All right, so let's get to this. I am going to just open up the space, do a little sound clearing, sound healing while I chime my tuning fork here. If you'd like to focus on your breath as you breathe in, I just open the space for you to focus on any goals, intentions, what you are calling in, giving thanks, gratitude, appreciation to your ancestors, your higher self, spirit guide, source, creator, the universe, your higher power as you exhale. All right, giving thanks as you exhale, calling in your intentions, your goals as you inhale. All right, so here we go. Okay, so how are y'all doing? Thank you for being here. Your presence and your support are so deeply appreciated. And if you are new to the channel, of course, again, welcome and thanks for checking it out. I hope that the messages here resonate. Always take what resonates, leave the rest behind. So we're gonna do just a general reading here, general collective reading, asking spirit what guidance may be relevant for us whenever you should be seeing this. So we've already got a number of cards appearing. We've got the Six of Swords, the Ace of Rods, the Eight of Cups, and the Page of Rods. All right, so after some kind of transitional period or phase, heading toward a new beginning or some form of maybe even a realization of some type, I get the sense that you are likely ready to move forward. Maybe you've accepted certain endings or certain things that you've already tried. It's kind of like the analogy that I'm getting is you've squeezed every last drop that you can out of an experience, a situation, whatnot. And now you're ready to fully move forward and onward. I feel like there was some kind of a spark of a new beginning, some form of an aha moment, perhaps, that maybe urged you or validated for you that yes, it is time to move forward and onward. I feel like you may have already been doing that. You're already in the process of leaving something behind. If it was something that just wasn't, again, resonating, something that may have been conflicting for you, just not quite working out, moving beyond a period of conflict. And I say that because the Six of Swords, it does speak to peaceful transitions, but what comes before the Six of Swords, the Five of Swords. So after maybe a period of feeling a little bit, maybe not, I don't want to say like a negative space, but having difficulty seeing ahead and feeling maybe even, I don't know, down in your luck or frustrated, it's like you can breathe. And this is that sign that you're on the right track, that it is time to let go of what's not serving, let go of the past. We're just validating things you already know to look forward to a brighter future. And with this Page of Rods energy, definitely it's a message with the Ace of Rods of new beginnings, all right? New experiences, new ways of looking at things. You're encouraged, and maybe this is part of something that you're already doing or trying to do, is looking at your life experience, your circumstances in a new light. Okay. And there's this energy of with pages, there's an encouragement to be exploratory, to be adventurous. Maybe you're getting ready to sort of put yourself into that type of a flow or a frequency. Okay, there's definitely some new signs of life that will be emerging as you continue to let go of things that were just emotionally stagnated or unfulfilling, and again focus on the future, what's ahead, of looking at things from the mindset or the vision of childlike wonder, looking at yourself, your experiences, opportunities, relationships as, from a new lens again. And I feel like there are some creatively inspired and aligned actions, or just at least I'm hearing one simple action, one simple focus for you, rather than scattering the focus and scattering the energy, scattering the efforts, right? So, Spirit, this was a lot that just kind of jumped out. Wow, okay, it says I'm saying that. The Fool, the Hermit. Wow, okay, so we've got like this childlike energy and then this elder wisdom. Woo, okay, Spirit. So definitely, not to sound repetitive, y'all, but the new cycles. I'm present to the Lionsgate that is going to be on August 8th, right? But here's the thing, leading up to the 8/8 activation portal, the energies for the Lionsgate are building. It's already open, it's already active as you're watching this. If you are watching this on the premiere day or date on or like a, around that time, a few days afterwards, whatnot, even leading up to the 8th of August, that's all in the threshold of that Lionsgate energy that's going to help to push things through and forward into, the new dynamic, the new reality that, every single day, every moment that we breathe is this opportunity, right, to see things from a different perspective, to do things differently, to switch things up, but for the better, we would hope. So with this full energy, just as an acknowledgement, we have Aquarius energy, where there's like this feeling of being open to the imagination, taking risks, not being afraid to just kind of put yourself out there, a willingness. Ooh, and I'm even getting like with these feathers, there's a feather in your cap, something along those lines. That's coming through with this energy, and saying, don't be afraid to just try new things. Don't be afraid to take a risk, to experiment. Of course, we want to be mindful. We're not just kind of trying to step blindly off the edge of a cliff here. So, in so many ways, because we may still be, while you're seeing this, we are still in the Mercury retrograde phase of things. Just be mindful. Watch your step. Watch where you're going. Pay attention. All right. Pay attention, especially if you're getting some notes from the universe, or, not to sound freaky, but warning signs, in other words. And with this hermit energy here, there's this inward or inner journey. So, you know, in terms of what you're embracing and unfolding onto, it may feel a little like a lone wolf sort of experience for a moment, but I kind of get the sense that this is a welcome sort of energy, a welcome feeling, and don't be afraid to embrace that. I feel like, you can even reflect on moments where you already have been through this experience of surrendering and being present to the moment, letting the moment guide you toward, just whatever new learning experiences are making themselves available to you, with your creative skills, with your psychic abilities, with life lessons and experiences in general, because, wands is that life force energy. You've already said yes to some type of a new beginning, a new way of seeing things, of doing things. You've already embraced it, and now it's like the emotional aspect, the follow through of that is what's unfolding next. Okay, what we're moving into. So there should be moments of joy. You might feel a little bit up and down with those moments of freedom, and then feeling kind of like hunkered down, wanting to put yourself out there, and then feeling a need to withdraw. So just be patient with yourself, and let things ebb and flow as it will. But again, focus and pay attention and watch where you're. I don't know why somebody needs to hear this. Watch where you're going, watch your footsteps, watch where you're stepping so that you know you're not just kind of like fumbling along the way, something like that. But Hermit energy is Virgo energy. So, I feel like planning, strategizing, um, looking at your circumstances in such a way where it's kind of like asking yourself, how does, from one situation or moment to another, it's always a balance that I focus on in terms of just not leaning into extremes of things. Sometimes it counts, sometimes it matters, sometimes it helps to lean into an extreme of something. But for the most part, we kind of want to just stay stable and steady on our feet, right? And there's something here about going inward, trusting your own inner core guidance, where you may feel a little green, or you know what I'm saying? Like new to an experience, a little vulnerable or exposed. These energies could also be indicative of seeking out guidance from a more experienced person, a guide, a mentor, someone who you can see or that you're aware of, that you know of, who has put a lot of time into their skills, put a lot of time into their knowledge, their wisdom, what it is that they do. Like they're more of an expert at something than you are. And so again, if you're feeling a little brand new to something, don't hesitate to reach out to someone that you can see maybe has a bit of a proven track record. This is a situation where there's something that is being sought out, is what I'm getting, whether it's information, whether it's your own kind of soul guidance and insight, something along those lines. I get this feeling of also being lighthearted though, as you're out there kind of seeking something, someone out, an experience, all right? But you are in a position to open up to something new. Okay, there's a lot of this feeling of newness that we're seeing here, which is interesting that we have this match with Hermit. So maybe this is something that will translate or flow into Virgo season. Okay, but let's get some guidance. What is this Hermit revealing, supporting? What is the message with the Hermit, from the Hermit here, the Devil? Okay, so don't get too caught up in your thoughts. Try not to fixate. See how this Hermit is like focused on that lantern, or at least that path ahead, or well, path behind. Try not to get too caught up in the past. That being said, especially if there is a new cycle opening up to you, I feel like, again, with balance in mind, because I'm just getting it, we're not running away from anything. We're not just kind of heading toward a new horizon or a new beginning. That's not all that's happening, at the sake or at the risk of just kind of dismissing the past altogether, ignoring the past. This is something to where I get the sense that even if you wanted to, there are certain elements that you have to face no matter what. And I get that with this devil energy. And so it's like, don't run from yourself, don't run from any, opening up to new experiences. No one is saying that you have to commit yourself to something or someone forever and ever, but it's about allowing for the experience to guide you, and to see like what kind of an impact, trying something new or looking at something from a new perspective, doing something in a different way than you always have been, how that might serve you. Okay, this devil energy, Capricorn energy. So we've got these earth energies kind of grounding things and calling for a sense of practicality. Again, without getting focused, fixated, or obsessed with like, not stability, but with results, physical results. It's like, be willing to take a chance on yourself, be willing to put yourself out there, be willing to try new things, while also being grounded and mindful, that, you know action does need to happen, and we don't need to scatter our efforts. And does it serve you to be overemphasizing the finish line, the end results, when you've just gotten to the start line? You know what I mean? When you just started the race, not that this is a race or anything, but when you've just started something, it can be motivating to think about or to consider the, why you're doing what you're doing, and that finish line, so to speak. But it doesn't do anyone any good to fixate on it, right? So just, it's like the balance in that regard. Okay, the balance in that regard. I also feel like this is a time, maybe for some, that you may be considering a new career path of sorts, something that's going to be a little bit more fulfilling, if not something branching off from the path that you're already on. There may be writing involved, or like, if you are writing or working on something that would make use of your creativity, your creative energy, your psychic energy, anything on that level, I feel like there may be something to explore and expand upon there. And so it may serve you again to look toward a mentor or a guide in that regard. And it's not something that you need to just be so strategic or so disciplined about, but it could be someone who just, that you're watching their YouTube videos, and that could be a way that they guide you or mentor you. It doesn't have to be necessarily direct one to one, unless of course that speaks to you. And even if it is direct one to one, it's not something that you need to like experience in like this regimented, like, okay, once a week we're going to be meeting up, or one, you know what I mean, every other week, every day, whatever the case may be. It's about aligning with the ebbing and the flowing of it and how it serves you. You know what I mean? And allowing for that experience to enrich you, while also, again, doing your best not to get too fixated on any one particular outcome at this time. There may be certain elements coming through that are revealing to you your own blocks, areas where you may be getting in your own way, or getting caught up in your own thoughts, or, just being a little bit too internal or withdrawn to the point where it creates like this obsessive kind of mindset or energy. And so it's just about being in that space of, again, balance, okay? Balance, harmony, and alignment. So I feel like part of it also is, this is a time to be mindful. Again, I said be mindful of your steps, right? While you're opening up to these new cycles, you do want to pay attention to where you're sort of directing your flow, because in the end, I'm feeling this piece now, there will be longer term results or influences, what's it called, an impact, the impact in terms of how you're behaving here and now, and how that's going to impact you over my period of time. All right, again, not to the point of obsession or anything, but just mindful awareness. Okay, I just saw 1717 on my timer, angel numbers there. So if that speaks to you, check out angel number 1717, see what that means to you, for you, and maybe drop it in the comments, whatever you find. I'm sure others can benefit from that. But we're going to transition now to our animal spirit reading card, animal spirit guides. And I invite you to check out, there will be a follow-up to this, a part 2, diving a bit deeper into the details here, or just, extension of the messages that we've received here. And in part 2, we're going to look to my animal spirit guidebook, as we do, for deeper clarification and meaning to the card that we see. We're also going to be, and sorry for those who you join me all the time and you know what I'm going to say, angel answers. So bring your yes no question or questions, and we will ask the angels for some guidance on that. We're also going to look to the romance angels for some guidance. So bring your questions for the romance angels as well, and we will pull card or cards. Okay, so here we go. Animal spirit guides, what is our message for this week, this timeless guidance for the week here? Vulture, interesting. Vultures are very powerful beings. Yes, they are symbolic of those, the death energy or cycle, something coming to an end, but there's something about transmutation or transformation in terms of them making use of stuff, of things that other people may see as discard or throwing away, So there's something very significant here about vultures, about looking for the opportunities in areas that others may miss or others may not see as opportunity. It's kind of like one man's trash trash is another man's treasure type thing. And so, yeah, that's kind of the core message that I'm getting with Vulture. I don't think that we've seen Vulture in a reading here before, and but I kind of like that. I like that we're seeing this now, and hopefully, Vulture speaks to you again. Very powerful animal here of making use of opportunities that others might miss out on or not recognize as opportunities. I'm going to cover that page aside, but you know what? I'm just going to adjust here for us. Um, so all that being said, again, I invite you into part 2 at kapualani.com/extensions. You can find the link in the comments below or in the description box below as well. If you'd like to schedule a session with me, I do offer live and pre-recorded sessions at kapualani.com. But otherwise, I'm wishing you the very best and brightest. See you in part 2. See you next time.